more than 40 years, People Incorporated has been an integral part of the greater Fall River community. Creative, collaborative, and invested in the region, we have consistently developed supports to make our community a better place to live. Dedicated to a better future for all our citizens, we are People on the Move. Hi, I'm Bob Canuel, President and CEO of People Incorporated, welcoming you to another episode of People on the Move. Our show today is going to highlight the Young Parents Learning Center, which is celebrating its 25th year of service this year. The Young Parents Learning Center, or the YPLC as we often refer to it, is a program that provides childcare at Durfee High School so that young parents are able to continue their classwork while they also are able to keep connected to their children while they're at the daycare program. We will be talking to today both Paul Marshall, the principal of Durfee High School, as well as Amy Bronhard, the director of guidance.
So in relation to having an on-site daycare center in our building, it's one of those tremendous assets that we're able to afford our students as well as our faculty. My personal opinion is I would hope people would wait to have kids, but the reality is that kids are having kids. And in order for them to be able to fully function, and I know as a parent, especially when I was raising my kids, my youngest is now 19, I worried constantly about what was going on, or how was I doing, how was I managing everything that was going on in their lives. So if I had the opportunity to be able to work at some place, and I guess that's like the way I look at our students who are still finishing their education, this is their full-time job, and knowing that the comfort that my child was in the same building, that just removes that stressor. So I can check in, I can see where how my son or daughter is doing. That's a tremendous opportunity. And for me personally, in relation to my staffing, it removes another obstacle for them. So they know that their kids are here and they know that their kids are safe. So it's a tremendous asset. I drive my superintendent crazy because I'd like to knock down a number of walls and grow this. I think that we would be greatly served, not only our students but our staff, to have about 4 times the size of that. So that should be something somebody should be thinking about for budgets.
My name is Amy Bronhard. I'm the Director of Guidance here at Durfee High School in Fall River. I'm born and raised in Fall River myself, Durfee grad, and we are very grateful to People Incorporated for the support that they give our students through the Young Parents Learning Center. The needs of pregnant and parenting teens over the years have certainly changed, in the sense that students now, the idea of a high school diploma is not an option, it's a necessity. And if students don't have the ability to bring their children to school and still maintain their education when they find themselves in that circumstance, it could be a detrimental situation for the kids, for our school, and for our community at large. The Young Parent Learning Center has provided direct social emotional support for our students over the past years. They create a family structure that is in some cases missing from our students and provide for them the support that they need to be successful in their educational pursuits. They provide an expectation. The staff, I've noticed over the past years that I've been able to collaborate with them, they hold their students to a high expectation. The students are held accountable in their daily actions, both through the daycare and with their children, but also in their academic endeavors as they progress through high school. And they provide one-on-one, and I would suggest the safety that our students are able to know that their children are in safe hands while they are sort of upstairs above finishing up their education and doing what they need to be successful. So Young Parent Learning Center has definitely enabled our students to be able to continue to find their oats and figure out where they're going in life while they are charged with being a responsible parent at the same time.
The logo of People Incorporated is the path to opportunity. I can't think of a more appropriate use of that logo than the Young Parents Learning Center. You're now going to hear from a young parent by the name of Jasmine, who'll talk about what this program has meant to her, but I think more importantly, she's going to talk about her aspirations and her plans for her future. And I think what you will see is that this is a program that not only provides young learners with structure, with opportunity, and with the security of knowing that their child is well taken care of, but it provides them with the motivation to continue their lives and to be able to eventually become the kind of citizens we want all of our young people to be.
Hi, my name is Jasmine, and I heard about the daycare because when I got pregnant my sophomore year, my guidance counselor had told me to go see the adjustment counselor, Miss Creasy. And when I did, she ended up telling me to come down to go to the daycare, put my name on the waiting list because it's first come, first serve when you have your name on the waiting list. So I put my name on the waiting list, and I checked it out. I did like the daycare when I seen it. Everyone was really nice, but I was still unsure of how I felt about putting my daughter in daycare, especially at a really young age. So I went home and talked to her father about it, and we decided that maybe we would put her in later on when she was maybe a couple of more months old, maybe 6 months, maybe a year. So my junior year, at the beginning of it, I ended up putting the baby in the daycare, and she was about 6 months at the time. When she was in the daycare, I never had any problems. I ended up loving everyone in here. They became like family to me, so I'm gonna end up crying because it's really emotional for me. This is gonna be hard. I actually got accepted to my first choice college, which is Unity College in Maine, so I could work with wildlife animals, and I could help with oil spills like I've been wanting to. And I've looked into the schools, and I've seen that I really, really wanted it. So I'm definitely gonna be moving to Maine. And I know that I'm gonna be really sad because the daycares, they're still gonna be here, but I won't be able to just get up and come right over and be like, do you know what happened today? Like, do you know why I'm so mad? Like, do you know just what happened in the hallway? I can't say that. I can maybe text them or call them or email them, but I can't just come up here and just tell them. I've shared a lot of laughs and cries with them, and it's like family to me. So I know that I'm definitely gonna miss them, but when I go to Maine, this is gonna be my second family that I know I can always come back to if I need something.
Hi, we're here today to talk about the Young Parents Learning Center, which is a collaborative program between People Incorporated and Durfee High School. I'm here today with Mary Madura, the director of our childhood education programs, and Mary Nolan, the program director of the Young Parents Learning Center. Welcome, ladies.
Good morning.
Could you tell the audience a little bit about how you first came to People Incorporated and how long you've been here and what your primary role is?
I came to People Incorporated about 15 years ago. I worked in Boston for early intervention, and then came to work for the early intervention department at People Incorporated, and then through the course of my time developed other programs for the agency.
Now, how long have you been the director of all of the childhood education programs?
About 5 years.
5 years. And Mary, how about yourself?
Actually, someone called me for the position when it opened up for lead teacher. And I came for an interview, and I liked the idea of the whole program, and that's how I came on board. And that, too, was also 15 years ago.
So both of you have been here 15 years. That's wonderful. We're very fortunate that we were able to find in the archives at WJAR-TV a video clip of the first year of the program, 25 years ago when the program first started. So we're going to show you that video clip now and be right back.
The daycare center on the other side of this door looks at first glance like most daycare centers. Toys, car seats, and of course babies. But take a closer look at the wall behind these cribs. That's a school blackboard back there. This nursery is actually a converted classroom inside Durfee High School. It's homeroom for 8 kids who have kids of their own. Sandy had dropped out of high school before she gave birth to Shauna, now 7 months old. And if there was no daycare at Durfee, Sandy says she might not have come back to complete her education.
It was really hard for me to come back because she was staying with one of my friends, and it was really hard because I was always worried about her. And I would have probably dropped out again if it wasn't for her being here.
Under the system, Sandy and 7 other teenage mothers leave their infants with the staff each morning and go off to class with everyone else. While the other kids are in study hall, the 8 mothers come back to the nursery to visit their babies and to learn how to be better mothers.
The program offers the mothers a great deal of support. We encourage peer support among the mothers. The staff in the program encourage the parents to assume responsibility, and therefore they're taught parenting skills.
Both generations of children seem pleased with the arrangement.
She's happy, I'm happy.
And so far, the community at large seems pleased with the arrangement, too. Administrators say the feared criticism that the program might condone or encourage pregnancy just hasn't materialized. Of course, the program wasn't formally unveiled until today, although it has been in effect since the beginning of this school year. Frank Coletta, Newswatch 10, Fall River.
I think, isn't that amazing that we've been here for 25 years with the Young Parents Learning Center. It's an incredibly invaluable program, provides wonderful services, and today you're going to hear a little bit about what this program means, not only to our community, but what it means to the individuals that participate in this program. Mary, you've been the Director of Childhood Education for about 5 years now. How have you seen the Young Parents Learning Center change in the 15 years that you've been at the agency, as well as the last 5 years of your involvement with it more directly?
The demands of the high school student are so much more now than they were 15 years ago, with all these new initiatives, No Child Left Behind, and the MCAS requirements. The students are under enormous academic pressure to succeed, and it's very difficult for them. And when you add on a teenage pregnancy, it makes it all that much more significant for them. So to have a support system right at the high school for them so that they can be supported to continue out their education is a wonderful opportunity for them.
Yeah. Now, Mary, you're on site every day at the program. Could you speak a little bit about some of the activities that you provide for the children and for the parents at the center?
Well, we do have a curriculum we follow. The children are able to have story time. We have circle time. There's art time. And for the infants, there's floor play, just to help them with their motor skills. For the parents, we have an after-school program twice a week where we talk about teen issues and to help these girls. Also, we do have a young man in the program also to help these students if they have anything that we can talk to them and work with. And with their interests, we're working with their interests to make them.
You know, you mentioned about the importance of education. How do the people who participate in the Young Parent Learning Center compare to the student body at large in terms of their academic attainment?
It is very difficult for these students to come to school. They often miss semesters due to their maternity leave, and so they have a lot of makeup work to do when they come back. So it's extraordinarily difficult for them to return to school. And then once they're there, they have the support system. And so they do have a high graduation rate. More than 90% of the students that are in the YPLC graduate and go on to college.
That's incredible. When you think of what the graduation rate is for other children, the fact that these young people not only have all of the stresses that you've mentioned, but obviously seem motivated enough to be able to excel and to graduate. I think that's a phenomenal statement about the strength and the character of these young people. Mary, could you speak a little bit about how many graduates were there last year?
We had 8.
And did many of those graduates go on beyond high school? They have.
They have gone to BCC, the Salter School, and we had one boy graduate from the program, but he found a job, but he is planning on going back to school. So, yeah, they're doing well.
Great, that's great. I know every year we have our graduation ceremony at the end of the school year, and I know for me it's always a highlight of the year for me, and we have political officials, school officials, I know we always have a few board members, and we get to share with their friends and their families, and it's really a remarkable a moment in time, I think. And I'm always incredibly impressed by how they feel about what they've experienced during the 4 years here in the program, as well as the fact that every one of those kids for the 9 years that I've been here has some kind of an academic or professional vocational plan for themselves. Now, I got to think that you guys are instrumental, along with people like Amy Bronhard and Paul Marshall, in making that happen. How do you instill in those young people the necessary attitude that education and employment is important?
Well, I tell them education is a gift, and if they want to succeed in life, they have to move on. And that way they're able to provide for their child and for themselves. So they understand the importance of going on to school. A lot of these girls come in with the idea of moving on, so they're doing well. They do well.
Yeah. Now, we know that no really good program is possible without a lot of good collaboration with the community. Could you speak a little bit to the collaboration experience that you've had for any program to exist as a collaborative partnership for 25 years? There has to be a strong bond and a strong commitment on all of the parties involved. Who are some of our partners with the Young Parent Learning Center?
Durfee High School is a great partner. They've even welcomed us into their school, and they have a wonderful counseling team, so if the girls are in crisis, we can share that role with them. We also have the Healthy Families program through People Incorporated, who work at home with these young parents and the grandparents and other family members around supporting the needs of the teen. There's the YPS program in Fall River, which is a long-standing program for teen support in the area. The health centers, the physicians, the pediatricians, many different individuals who have supported teens in this area. And it's consistently, the teen pregnancy rate has consistently dropped in Fall River over the last few years because of all the nature of the support in this city.
Yeah, that's a wonderful thing. And I think too, though, for those young people who have gotten pregnant, sometimes that it's an emotionally charged issue, unfortunately. And what would you say to people who may be watching us today, who may feel as though a program of this type shouldn't exist? What would you say to those people?
I would tell them that these girls do need their education. I mean, if they're just going to sit home, they're not. What are they getting? You want them to go on. You want them to not live off the system, to go and graduate and be able to provide for their children. And this is the only way they're going to get it, with education. So this is what I say to them. You know.
And I think that's an incredibly important statement that you made, Mary. There are always going to be young people who make mistakes, and what our role is as educators and as the nonprofit community and the educational community is to help all of the children in our community be able to excel. And I think the fact that you've been able to put a program together that has phenomenal graduation rates, that you've been able to help young people make really good judgments and decisions about their future for themselves and their children, and help them get on the road to becoming a responsible citizen in the Fall River community is really laudable. I think it's a wonderful thing that you guys do, and the fact that you've both been doing it for 15 years is phenomenal. Can you speak a little bit about last year's graduates? I know you mentioned some of them are off. Do you keep in touch with some of the young people that come through the program?
Yeah, they do. They do come back to say hello. I've had girls for many years. They still come back for many years and see us. We have one girl who graduated last year, and she's volunteering now at the center. Yeah. And she's at BCC, so between her classes, she'll come down. Yeah. Or if she's not working, not at school that day, she'll come down and help volunteer.
Yeah. How do you go about getting referrals for the program?
Most of the referrals come in from the high school, from the guidance department, and so when a student transfers into Durfee or comes up from the middle school from Durfee, or if there's a situation that arises while they're a student at Durfee, the guidance department is usually the key referral source for us, because the students are at Durfee. But when they graduate, we do have some kids that have graduated Durfee who are at the college, and they continue to need support. And second child care center called the Children's Center, where we continue to support those students while they're in college.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned that you have a young man in the program this year.
Yeah, we do.
And I think it was probably my first or second year back as CEO. When I came to the graduation, there was a young man who was graduating, but that's few and far between, I think. Is it not?
I've had 4 in all my years there. I had 4, and yeah, it works out well. They're great dads.
Yeah.
And it's good to see.
And do we provide any, or does the community provide any other supports for these young students in terms of helping them to acquire the kind of parenting skills that they need to be successful parents?
Well, on our Tuesdays and Thursday program after school, that's what we do. Part of our things to help them. And if anything happens during the day at the daycare, we will talk to the girls about it. And we'll do this, we try this, and to help them move.
So we're not only helping young parents develop better parenting skills, but we're helping them work their way through what is a very difficult period of time in their lives. Anybody who's ever had a teenager knows how difficult that period of life is. And to add the other issue of being a parent, but we're helping them work their way through schools. And I know Principal Marshall has been extremely supportive of the program, as well as Amy Bronhard, the Director of Guidance. Can you talk a little bit of the history of the program? I know there must have been other people who have come and gone at Durfee who have been an extremely important part. I know Edward Coster was instrumental, I believe, in getting the program up and running. Are there other people that we should briefly mention?
Yeah, for me it was Natalie Kaufman. She was the crisis counselor back then. She was wonderful. I can't say enough about this woman. And Donna Valente, she started out as a teacher in the child care program. Then she moved on to become the vocational director. Very helpful when we needed things, and we could go to her. As with now the child care teachers, there's Renee Ferreira and Kathy Garcia. Very strong bond there to help us. And we all work together, actually. We all work together. And the nursing program, also, they'll come in and if we need anything, they'll help us out. So it's nice and tight.
I think sometimes, I don't want the community to think that these are supports and services that are only for the young people who come through the Young Parents Learning Center. And I think the community isn't always aware the many wonderful things that are done, not only at Durfee High School, but at other schools throughout the community to help prepare young children for a better future. But there are enormous supports available for young people. And I think the fact that our folks are doing so well, in terms of graduating and going on, is indicative of a really well-done collaborative program model that certainly we would like to see more of in our community. Mary, what do you see for the future for the Young Parent Learning Center? Do you see additional services and supports that you'd like to see more readily available?
I do. I see this program, it works so well at Durfee that I would hope that other schools that have that need would want to include that as part of their in-house service provision. Because it is an issue, and it does help these students stay in school, like Mary said, get their education so they can go on to support their family.
How about you? Do you have any major goals that you'd like to see developed over the next several years for folks to make the program better?
Wow, that's I just want these girls to grow and move on and to be happy and have a good life. That's all I can ask for them. I always tell them after they leave, if you need anything, we are here. I don't care how many years you're gone.
And it's always been obvious to me when we do our graduation ceremony, the incredible emotional bond that these people have developed, especially with you.
Yeah,
it's a wonderful thing. I know it's one of the things that my board of directors is constantly remarking about in terms of how strong and emotionally charged our graduation is. It's a wonderful, wonderful day. But that's I think, a testament to you and the commitment that you've made to these young people over a number of years. So, are there any last things you'd like to be able to say to the community at large or about the program?
The program is for these girls as a family. They've become our family as we become theirs. I have a great staff, and we all work together, and we just make this a nice transition for these girls to move on, and while they're there, that their children is getting quality care, and they feel safe leaving their children with us.
Yeah. Mary, is there anything that you'd like to add?
No, I think it is. It's that unique team. This team of people that work at the YPLC, it's their gift. It's what they do. It's their passion in life, and they give all to those children and those families. So they are uniquely talented.
I think it's important for the community to understand that programs like this are not only necessary for the students that participate, but they're extremely important for the well-being of our community. This program helps young people stay on the path so that they become educated so that they're better able to provide for themselves and for their families, are then going to be better able to contribute to the Fall River community. And it's programs like this that will continue to help build a stronger and better Fall River. Thank you very much for tuning in.